I'm Robin Gagnon.
And I'm Eric Gagnon, and we sell restaurants. We started the nation's largest restaurant brokerage firm, We Sell Restaurants, over a decade ago. You can find us online at WeSellRestaurants.com.
We are on your radio once a week, talking with the leading authorities in the industry on subjects trending in the restaurant business. Tweet your own questions while we are on the air to our Twitter handle, that's Sell Restaurants, or post them to our Facebook page. We are at facebook.com/We Sell Restaurants. If we don't get to your question, we'll follow up on our social media channels.
Our goal is to satisfy your appetite for acquisition, feed the need for restaurant reality, and serve up a recipe for business success. If you have any ideas or any comments for the show, you can email me. My email address is Eric, E-R-I-C, at WeSellRestaurants.com.
Today's show is all about giving back to the community. We want our listeners to get to know organizations with heart in the restaurant industry. How do they relate to the food industry? How are they impacting and getting involved with the community? Our guests are Naomi Green and Jennifer Hidinger from the Giving Kitchen.
As co-founder and spokesperson for the Giving Kitchen initiative, also known as TGK, Jennifer Hidinger advises on brand awareness and community involvement while providing a personal account in telling the story of TGK on a local and national platform. She is Staplehouse Restaurant's business manager and co-founder. She coordinates all aspects of the restaurant, including design, operational features, and all business management. Staplehouse is a restaurant created and named in honor of Ryan and Jennifer Hidinger as one-of-a-kind platform for fulfilling the mission of TGK. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We are also very fortunate to be joined by the Giving Kitchen's Director of Partnerships, Naomi Green. Naomi joined the Giving Kitchen's team earlier this year. She's a lifelong Atlanta native, and Naomi was thrilled to join their team as Director of Partnerships and Strategic Events. Naomi brings extensive experience and knowledge of the restaurant industry, which she's gained over the past 15 years. She's engaged in all dimensions of the restaurant business, rising from a server and bartender to senior manager and event planning. Most recently, she was Director of Events and Marketing at Fox Brothers Barbecue, where she significantly contributed to the restaurant's expansion initiatives. Previously, she was Event and Marketing Manager at the Palm Restaurant in Naomi. She also worked as a corporate trainer around the country and then as Banquet Sales Manager for Maggiano's Little Italy in Atlanta, Charlotte, and Nashville. Naomi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Okay, so let's just tee this off, Jennifer, with you, because our listeners want to understand, what is the mission of the Giving Kitchen? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the mission of the Giving Kitchen initiative is to support our Metro Atlanta restaurant community who face any sort of unanticipated crisis or hardship.
And what do you mean by that exactly?
You know, it all started kind of recently, actually. The story begins really kind of December of 21st of 2012, when my late husband, Ryan Hidinger, was diagnosed with a late-stage cancer. And the community really, the restaurant community specifically, really rallied behind he and I to support us in our time of need and our time of crisis. And, you know, the community was just, it was really powerful. It was really amazing. They came together, they put on, and we're talking many people, put on an event called Team Heidi, short for our last name of Hidinger, an event last January to help us raise funds for our medical need. And that really revealed a need for a crisis fund for the larger community to exist when anybody faces a hardship, whether that's a broken arm, a broken ankle, a life-threatening diagnosis like cancer. Something done for us that really fully impacted our lives was how the Giving Kitchen initiative was formed.
Amazing story.
Yeah. Naomi, you've seen firsthand the devastating impact of unanticipated hardship in one of Atlanta's restaurant community. Tell us how that motivated you to take a leadership role in industry and do some fundraising for the industry.
Yeah, so around the same time that Ryan and Jen were faced with Ryan's diagnosis, there was a chef at Fox Brothers whose name was Charlotte, and she too was diagnosed unexpectedly with a pretty aggressive form of breast cancer. And so we also tried to rally around Charlotte and do a fundraising event to get some medical funds raised to support her and her family during that time. And through that, we're connected with what was then the Friends of the Giving Kitchen, which was the project that Ryan and Jenny really launched on their own to kind of support the restaurant community. So of course, as with anyone who hears about this amazing initiative, as soon as you're allowed an opportunity to be a part of it, as soon as it's in your world and you're hearing about it and reading about it and seeing about it, it's nearly impossible to deny the impact that it would have on you as a member of the community, or just someone who dines out a lot, or someone who spends special occasions in restaurants. I mean, restaurants really impact every single person's lives. And so it's important, and was relatively easy to kind of gather a community of support around the Hidinger family, and which grew into a greater Atlanta cause.
That's really, really something. It's just, and it's stories like that in the restaurant industry that you hear oftentimes of folks that really come to the forefront when people are in need. But to have it spawn an effort that's this large, because the Giving Kitchen has expanded beyond its original mission. Tell us a little bit about Staplehouse.
Well, Staplehouse was originally concepted back in January of 2009 from my husband, Ryan, and myself. We actually started out of our home and hosted just really intimate, casual dinners for strangers out of our house, and all in anticipation of opening up our own restaurant. It was a really beautiful way for us to build relationships and just build a community that way. So Staplehouse started a little while ago. Staplehouse is a restaurant. It's a casual neighborhood joint. We will be opening up soon in the Old Fourth Ward neighborhood of Atlanta. And it's a dream. It's a dream of not just one person, not really even just two people, Ryan and I. This has become a dream of a city. A really large family, putting forth a great amount of effort to get this project open, all because of the greater good.
That's really something.
And I heard you, Naomi, saying that there was a Friends of the Giving Kitchen first. That was a project that Jennifer and her husband had started. So tell us about the history a little bit of how did that come up from the Friends of TGK to what it is today. Tell us a bit of the history of that.
Jenny actually might be able to speak to that a little bit better.
I think we can bounce back and forth. It really, I mentioned just a moment ago, Staplehouse started January of 2009. And when Ryan was diagnosed in December of 12, our idea, our thought process, was hindered a little bit when you're faced with a catastrophic.
Can you imagine?
When you're faced with a catastrophic idea, you kind of lose faith in a few things, and one of them was the idea of our dream kind of never coming to fruition. But after that January of 2013 event, Team Heidi 1.0 was put on. A new perspective really is forced on you, but also you have to really embrace it and accept it. And with friends and business colleagues. In fact, the chairman of the Giving Kitchen board, Ryan Turner, to be specific, was one of the leading members who really kind of came to us and offered us just an idea, a different type of medicine of keeping our dream alive, of keeping Staplehouse alive.
And sometimes that's the best medicine.
It absolutely really was for us. I really can't quite describe the impact that a community can have on a single person or a couple. And that's really kind of what formed the original dream of just kind of a quote-unquote standard restaurant, and it really catapulted it into something more community-driven. So the idea of starting a nonprofit was really twofold. It was more people than just Ryan and I, but the idea of Staplehouse really was no longer just so simple. It really had to focus on giving back. And the purpose of Staplehouse to this point is, yes, to serve amazing quality-driven ingredients. The mood of the kitchen is really what will drive our dishes. Everything is meant to be shared. It's an intimate, casual setting. But the ultimate goal is to file in all of our year-end proceeds into an account that will go directly to our community and help anyone who's in need.
That's truly, truly amazing. And, there's so many examples in the industry of restaurants that help charities. The big guys that are very well known, the Ronald McDonald House that's sponsored by McDonald's, Auntie Anne's. They support Alex's Lemonade Stand or Firehouse Subs. Their motto is to go out and give in the firefighter community. But what really intrigues me about this particular charitable outreach is that it supports the industry itself and those in need. And I'm not really aware of anything else like that. Is there another organization that really turns that back to
I mean,
the
a lot
restaurant
of
industry?
organizations and a lot of companies have employee emergency assistance funds. And this is basically what the Giving Kitchen is. It is acting as a citywide employee emergency assistance fund. So it's not dedicated just to one specific company or restaurant. It's dedicated to the greater Atlanta population right now. And I think the other thing that's really important to acknowledge is not only are all of the restaurants that you mentioned previously, big assistance in the community, but every single restaurant, large or small, is called on a daily basis to provide gift certificates, to send chefs out, to give up their space, to give out coupons, to give discounts, in fundraising efforts for community schools and churches, and lots of other organizations. So this is a one-of-a-kind kind of citywide effort where restaurants are doing something for their own teammates. And so that's what makes it really spectacular.
And speaking of that, that's very truly amazing, because you keep saying citywide, and we talk about TGK and Staplehouse here, but this is bigger than that. Do you have example of some other chefs or other local restaurants or other people locally that have joined your movement?
Gosh, too many to name.
There are. So we have identified immediately 124 restaurant partners. So these are restaurants that have helped us out with the Team Heidi event or other fundraising events that we host, or other restaurants that have reached out to us with a very eager want to get involved. Our idea, of course, is we would love to develop a model that could be duplicated in other cities. So we really want to be thoughtful about taking the time to do that now and learning from our mistakes and making sure that we're making really good decisions, and be able to grow this statewide and be able to grow this countrywide and be able to grow this worldwide. It just is something that, everyone can kind of grab onto in some way or another. And so that makes it really easy. But we also have to be very careful about the decisions that we make to make sure that we're following our initiative and we're being true to our mission, and that we are really truly serving the community that we say we are due to serve.
So, any idea how many people you've helped since this idea started?
Well, as the Giving Kitchen, which is formally created as of last May, so we're technically just over 1 year old, I would say that we've helped close to 25 to 30 people directly. Prior to the Giving Kitchen being in formal nonprofit status, there was the Friends of the Giving Kitchen, which were Ryan and Jenny were Friends of the Giving Kitchen, and they were sharing some of the money that they were receiving from fundraising efforts within the community. So quite a few people received help from the Friends of the Giving Kitchen initiative before the Giving Kitchen itself formally existed on paper.
You guys mentioned Heidi 1.0, Team Heidi 1.0 a couple of times. What was that? And tell me more about what this team did for you guys.
Oh, wow. Back in very early January of 2013, our very good friend Ryan Turner approached us and came over to our home in Grant Park and sat us down, Ryan, myself, and some immediate family members, and said, the financial burden of what this may cause you cannot be a problem. Cannot. Therefore, we want your permission to do whatever we want to do to make sure that that's not a burden. And Ryan and I, as most people, have a really hard time of accepting help. We really independent young people. And I think that's a very powerful lesson to have learned throughout the last 18 months of my life now, specifically, is how to ask for help and when it's valuable. And Ryan, Turner approached us and said, we need to do this for you. We really know how to throw a really great party. Let us do what we know how to do best. And without really asking questions, we just said, do what you need to do and tell us where to be. And we arrived to a gigantic, really beautifully well-manicured party full of just shy of 1,000 people there solely for one purpose, and that was to make sure that money was raised to help one couple. One.
Wow.
And to have raised over $350,000 that very first year is remarkable, is astonishing, really. Therefore, you realize, what's available and what needs to be revealed as soon as something like that is done for one couple. So it was remarkable. I speak on the impact, the impact of what it has done to change our life last year, and then even me still to this day.
So a family that's in crisis or a person that's in crisis in this industry is able to truly just focus on their health and their family instead of trying to figure out how they're going to keep the bill collectors and the doctors at bay as they are seeking treatment. That's really the crux of this.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is that, you hear stories of people who are going through chemotherapy and living at home with their parents because they have to move their whole family there, or living out of their cars sometimes. And it just shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't have to face a financial obstacle to wellness. And so the Giving Kitchen, what we support financially are we pay mortgage or rent, we'll pay utilities or childcare, food and clothing reimbursement if your home flooded or burned down. So we just want to make sure that during that time you have a safe and comfortable environment to heal in. And so that's the main goal. Bills that are medical or credit card bills or bills that can be, deferred for a bit longer are not our primary focus. Our primary focus is making sure that during that time of wellness and during that time of healing, that those people have a comfortable and safe environment to be in. And I think it's important to mention that the Team Heidi event has grown yearly, and we will continue to host that as an annual fundraising event now benefiting the Giving Kitchen. And that event is on January 25th of this coming 2015. It is always the Sunday between the end of the end of the season of football and the Super Bowl, which is the following Sunday. So we plan it strategically around your sports
warm up for the Super Bowl. You can go there
right?
and get yourself ready for the Super Bowl. I like it. I like it
a little warm up, and it is a really amazing event. I mean, we rally 50 chefs to have tastings there, and we pull bartenders from around the city to help really mix up some awesome drinks. And we draw on the support of sponsors in terms of, there are many who support the food industry by distributing food or distributing paper goods or distributing alcohol. So we call on those sponsors to help support this event so that we can spend as little as possible to raise as much as possible for the community.
And you're right. The community, the food industry is such a giving community. I mean, we've helped different things, even Robin and I. I mean,
sure.
Everybody. I mean, you don't have to twist somebody's arm to help you. It's very easy, but this is a community, and it's just nice that once in a while, like what you guys have created, it's amazing that, our community needs help as well. I mean, and nobody's been looking out for them. So I think it's very great. So what are you hoping to teach people with this? Are you trying to get some sort of blueprint for the Giving Kitchen and Staplehouse, a new model maybe of operating restaurants, helping community versus, like you said earlier, people are coming to you every day for something, but then maybe you can incorporate that in everyday purpose and then benefit. So what is it that the goal for TGK?
Well, I'll speak on both. I'll start kind of with Staplehouse at least. I think this is just really about building a model for a service philanthropy. Again, really diving into a community, an industry specifically that is on their feet, uses their hands, and tirelessly creates for individuals to celebrate, to enjoy, to all of that. And this is really just about creating an atmosphere that's enjoyable and comfortable, and just really, just at the end of the day, it's just all about giving back to anybody who's in need.
And from TGK, I mean, I think that we are both Staplehouse and TGK. I mean, we are certainly a partnership. We are all interested in creating a brand that would be a blueprint for other restaurants to grow as Staplehouse does, where it's a restaurant that benefits a nonprofit organization solely, or the Giving Kitchen itself, just being able to launch that in other cities and being able to launch that idea nationwide. And it's just something that's so contagious. As soon as you speak to someone about the Giving Kitchen, as soon as you have one moment of their ear to be able to tell them a brief history of the story or just where you are today, I'm sure Jenny experiences this all the time. As I tell the story, I get chills, and I see the person across from me get chills every single time. It's so easy to capture this audience of diner outers. Atlanta is becoming a foodie city, that's for sure. more and more restaurants are opening on a daily basis, and we love to see those success stories, but we want to make sure that in times of need that those teammates are well taken care of.
That just so beautifully put. So tell us a little bit, because this is so focused in Atlanta right now. Who are some of the folks that sit on your boards? What are some of the names that you have associated with this wonderful charity?
An amazing group of people who have really stepped up and wanted to help immediately. This was in the creation, forums of last year. The Giving Kitchen was quite naturally and very organically brought up from this beautiful little seedling. There wasn't a ton of effort put in, just because the story itself was so impactful to people. Ryan Turner sits on our board as chairman of the board, as well as Chris Hall and Todd Mussman, his business partners in his restaurants, Mussman Turner's Local 3 Common Quarter. As well as we have Doug Hertz,
and Dave Schulberg. Both are with who are with United Distributing.
Yep.
Camp Twin Lakes and whatnot. Allison Sawyer, who is currently the director of communications for the Arthur Blank Foundation. Nancy Oswald, leading franchisee owner for Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Okay.
Catherine Mickle, who's with American Cancer, and she's serves as financial advisor for us.
Yes. Michelle Stumpy, she's a restaurant attorney here in town.
Yeah. You know
Michael.
Michelle?
Yep. Michael Gallagher, the restaurant owner in Decatur.
Mm-hmm. And Chris Pomar. And Chris Pomar comes to us from Holy Innocents, and where he has a good deal of strategic nonprofit work. But there are some interesting outside of the restaurant additions to our team that just go again to show how broadly this space touches and how impactful it is to so many people. Even if you just like to dine out, then you can feel very connected to this mission and be a big supporting part of it.
Wow. I mean, that reads like a who's who of the restaurant industry in the Atlanta marketplace. And as you noted, the Atlanta market for restaurants has experienced so much growth, and it really is becoming a foodie city. It's a place where we see so much talent emerge. So it seems absolutely reasonable then that we would see such an amazing charity emerge from such a great food city. So I definitely want to learn more about this. I'm sure our listeners want to learn more, including how they can help. But so we're going to take a very quick break for a couple of minutes and then come back and continue speaking with Naomi Green and Jennifer Hidinger from the Giving Kitchen and learn more about this charity. Remember, today's show is sponsored in part by Today's Restaurant, the food service industry newspaper. Today's Restaurant is available in Georgia and Florida online at trnusa.com. This is Eric and Robin Gagnon. We're the Restaurant Brokers. We have been talking about those restaurants with a heart contributing to charities in our area. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back after the break.